Okay, now, um, for those of you that don't know, I have to go through this also. If I'm on 6.1 today and you're going to miss Wednesday or Thursday or whenever this class meets, then you need to look at 6.2 because that's probably what we're going to go over. I have to tell y'all that because some of y'all don't know to do that. Tri-County Tech thinks. So by Calc 2, you should know that, and most 98% of the students know that, but you always got deadheads that are walking around that don't know what's going on. We're going to spend the first week on review because I've got several people in here that haven't taken calculus since last summer. So, unless you're sitting at home and doing calculus in your spare time, you might have forgotten some things. So unless anybody in here do calculus in your spare time, yeah, whatever. Anyway, there's about 6 of y'all that have had calculus and haven't had calculus in a year versus my students that just came out of calculus last semester. So I'm going to spend about a week going over those review sections. I'll probably cover the Unit 1 and Unit 2, Unit 1 and Unit 3, which is derivatives and antiderivatives. I'll probably cover a little bit of rate of change, and then we'll jump back into what we left off with last semester, and that's the volumes and the cylindrical cells and shells and all that stuff. Now, what's going to bog you down is this section right here, 6.4. That section, remember the rates of change that I hammered and hammered and hammered with y'all last semester? That's where it's going to pay off because 6.4 is not going to be that detrimental to you because of your rates of change. Now, what I would suggest you do with this section is go back into your notebooks and look over rates of change. The ladder, the shadow, what else? Didn't we have a tank in there? Huh? The boat, yeah. You need to refresh your memory on those, okay? You remember how methodical it was? You needed to do this, you needed to do this, you needed to do this. You needed to draw a picture, you needed to find dy dx, you needed to find ds dx or whatever you were working with, and then you needed to set it equal, and then you need to figure it out. All right, so you need to go over that before we do this. Okay, so I'm going to let you do that on your own. I'll cover it a little bit next week, but you need to do that at home before we go into 6.4. What I would suggest is that you work several of the problems in your notebook. Just go over them and remember what we did. And I'll do that a little bit next week with you with this review. And now, one of the things I do in Calc 1 is I make sure that this is the last thing you go over before we end the semester. And the reason that is because when you go into Calc 2, that's your review. And technically you get double barrels on that. I don't think it's that hard, but some people do. I think the work section is much more difficult for students to get. So what I'm telling you is 80% of the time we're going to spend on this section. Okay? So that's how the first unit's going to go. Second, we're going to continue. Now let me go ahead and explain what I'm going to really hit in this class. Unit 1 and Unit 2, I'm going to hit big time. We're going to spend a lot of time in Unit 1 and Unit 2. Unit 2 especially. The reason Unit 2 is going to be so drawn out is because Calc 3 is a mixture of this and this. Okay? Also, Unit 3 is not that big. Unit 3, the reason you have Unit 3 and it's so big is because in Calc 3, you need to start learning how to draw in 3 dimensions. All right? Some of you artistic people, you can already do that, and that's great. But in Unit 3, I'm going to get into a little bit of drawing in 3D, probably the latter part where you're talking about polar coordinates and conic sections. So I'm going to start drawing in 3D. The thing I want you to get out of Unit 3 is I want you to start thinking about practicing drawing in 3D with your polar coordinates. Because with the physics and with the Calc 3, you're going to be drawing unit diagrams, unit vectors, you're going to be drawing parallel vectors, you're going to be drawing normal vectors, and the only way to see that is to have a good picture of it. And if you suck at drawing, then you need to start practicing in that section right there for next semester. Okay? And Unit 4 is just a continuation of theory. You do get into series at the latter part of Calc 3, but all of this Unit 4 and Unit 5 is starting some of the theory in differential equations. Okay, so that's what Unit 4 and Unit 5 is. I'm going to spend most of the semester on these 3 units right here. Okay, now you know me, I hammer the stuff that you're going to see. All right, so you may think that you're not covering what you need to cover, but I'm not worried about covering 5 units. I'm worried about drilling home the stuff that you're going to see in Calc 3. Because Calc 2 is not worth the crap if you can't do Calc 3. There's no sense of you wasting your time. So I would rather you know Unit 1, Unit 2, Unit 3 like the back of your hand going into Calc 3 than knowing a little bit of all 5 units going into Calc 3. Okay? And some of y'all have no idea what I'm talking about, but I do, so just trust me. All right, so that's an important page right there, and I want you to keep that in your notebook, those 2 pages right there. The rest of it, if you can understand it, read it, but this is all bureaucratic Columbia bullcrap, so that's, I mean, if you can read it, knock yourself out. Philadelphia lawyer writes it, so I don't care nothing about reading it. All right, so that's and then I go to the handouts, which I sent out, I think Sunday or Monday, I can't remember. Let me find it. I think it's called handouts.
A Gmail has just arrived.
Oh, the locator card, I sent that out too. I'm trying to find it. Y'all just bear with me. I think I sent it out like early in the morning. Spring, no. I know I sent it out. Monday morning. What? Where does it say handout?
It's 9:09 a.m.
9:09? Okay, it just skips 9:09, so that means I must not have sent it to myself, so I go to sent. There it is, Hubert's handouts. Oh, that's why I can't find it. I hate this email system. You have to search and search for finding things. These are the 4 handouts I sent. So I sent you 3 emails with information on it. All right. Now, these emails are mainly for those students that's never had me before. And this one especially because it lets you know a little bit about what I expect from you. So the first thing is a little bit about me. The reason I do this is because I think it's important for students to know their teacher a little bit. I do not do it because I'm conceited. I don't do it because of anything like that, or I'm full of myself, or whatever that guy put on the evaluation that time. Okay, I do it because basically a long time ago I used to get y'all to fill out a card, and I don't do that anymore. But I still do this because you ever had a teacher that you didn't know what their name was at the end of the class, the first class? Well, I'm not like that. So I give you a little bit about myself. I also let you know that I'm from this area. I'm not from BFE, and I'm from this area. So I grew up around here. I went to Tri-County Tech. I went to Clemson, as the announcer said last night, Clemson. I went to Clemson, all right? Clempsin, Clemson. I went to Clemson. And those of you that went to Clemson, more power to you. Did y'all hear him last night? Clemson did a good job. And I'm like, the guy on the left, he says Clemson. And the guy on the right, he's up here. He's sophisticated. So he has to say Clemson because he don't want to be associated with us rednecks. So Clemson. And I went to Clemson, got my master's, and got my 18 plus hours toward my doctorate. But I don't care nothing about getting a doctorate because I don't want to be one of those people that make you call me Dr. Hubert. So anyway, that's a little bit about me. And there's my information. The best way to contact me is through my cell phone. Now, that doesn't mean you have to text me through my cell phone. It doesn't mean you have to call me through my cell phone. But I also get as you heard, my work email through my cell phone. All right, so those are the 3 ways to get in touch with me. My cell phone text, my cell phone call, and then my hmcclure@tctc.edu because it comes to my cell phone. If you're one of these people that go by the office and hang out around my office, you can forget it, all right? Because I've got a life, all right? I'm not like some of these teachers at Pendleton around here that spend 24 hours a day at Tri-County Tech, all right? I have cows, pigs, and horses that I have to take care of. So in the afternoon, about 2:30, when I have my son this week. I don't have my son next week. So this week, after 2:30, I'm gone. I work through lunch, and I leave at 2:30 because I got to pick him up, or DSS will pick him up, and then I won't see him no more, and all of that will be your fault. And so anyway, weeks that I don't have him, I probably will hang out till 3 or 3:30. And that's where you see my locator card. Let me show you that. The locator card tells you when I'm here. But most of my students will tell you that, just like Dr. Marshall, I've never sat in Dr. Marshall's class, but I've heard that he tries to go through stuff as well as he can. And I'm the same way. There's a couple of teachers at Tri-County that's like that. Then there's a couple of teachers that's not. I'm not one of those teachers. I'm one of the teachers that I will spend as much time as I can with you in the classroom. That's why I do things on website. And that's why I'm always fighting with those powers to be that want me to give things that I don't want to give. Because that defeats the purpose of me, let me just explain it this way. If I give you a test and I hand it back to you and go over it, that's 2 days for each test. 4 times 2 is 8. That's 8 days I could be what? That I could be teaching. Then I have to check your homework. Make sure you copied the answers in the back of the book correctly. All right? That's 15 minutes going through and checking out of every class. 15 times 2 times 14 comes out to be about 3 days. 3 days plus 8 days is what? 11 days that I could be what? Teaching. And it's worked for the last 15 years because I've been using WebAssign and MyLab Plus for 15 years. And it's worked. It works. Now, is there 2 or 3 people out there cheating? Yes. But there's also 2 or 3 people in the classroom cheating with the calculators and with all different ways. The bill of the hat, the wrist, the hand, the side of the pen. I know all those things. I used to do them, okay, a long time ago in elementary school. All right? So, I know that people, it's kind of like, are you ever going to be 100% theft-proof at your house? No, you're not. There will always be somebody, if they want to get in your house, they will get in your house. Same thing with cheating. If somebody wants to cheat, they're going to find a way to cheat. Nobody at Tri-County Tech is going to stop people from cheating. So I say, make more work on myself and more work on the student, or just let the student work on their own, and that way it's more time for me to teach. And I have less office hours because I teach in the classroom. So, and some of my students can tell you, I don't have many office hours. I don't have a lot of students coming by my office unless they just want to sit and talk, because I do all the teaching in class. And that's why I do the things online that I do. So, and I'll just keep fighting that battle, because I have some teachers with their 17% retention rates that say that I need to give this and I need to do this. You have a 17% retention rate. Why should I be listening to you? You know? Don't even get me started on that. That's kind of like listening to the guy that's already locked up. Anyway, there's my office hours. And if you notice, I don't have many office hours here. That means I'm usually gone. But the days I don't have to pick up my son, I'm usually here a little bit later. So next week, I'll be here a little bit later. I usually tell my students after 2 o'clock, you need to call me and by appointment. That's what I put right in here. Okay? The best time to get in touch with me is right here. Friday, I don't have any classes, but do expect when you do come to my office on Friday that there's not another student in there. And I can work with 2 or 3 students at a time. Believe it or not, I know I'm a male. There's some things I can do, you know. I can multitask in some areas, not very many, but I can multitask when it comes to tutoring and helping. I can go from student to student. Okay, so there's that. So now you know where my office is, right here. Directly left of elevator, last office on the left, in the corner. I've been in the corner all my life, and all my career I've been in the corner. So I guess there's some kind of, what is it called, psychological issues there? What do you call it? Psychoanalyzation. What?
Is it feng shui?
Yeah.
They say the way your house is, it reflects your mind.
Oh my God! Because my house is an old house that I moved. I bought it for $1, and I stripped it down, and it was built in the 50s. And look, when I pulled it out to the pasture, I pulled it out with my own stuff. And when I put it out there, it looked like Dorothy's house on Wizard of Oz, when it came into Oz, sitting like this. But it was a 35 by 35 house. It was really odd because most houses in the 50s were 30 by 30. But this one was 35 by 35. It was really weird. And I moved it out there and I stripped it I did it myself. And then I added around it. So my house goes all different ways. So it's kind of like when you get through one of those horror movies and you're going through all these different ways. That's what my house looks like. So if that's true, then I'm really screwed up. Anyway, because I've got an old house with a new house around it. So anyway, that's that. So now you know where my office is, and you know when I'm in my office. So what's the 2 questions that I will not answer? Where is your office? And when are you in your office? You got it now, okay? I do not like to repeat myself, so please don't ask me that. Okay, Hubert's class courtesies. For those that have never had me before, I believe in one rule, and that's the yellow rule right there. I treat students the way that I want to be treated. Since 1995, when I graduated Clemson, I worked part-time at Tri-County Tech teaching classes for 1 year, and then I got hired on full-time. So I've been here 21 years teaching, 20 years full-time. 21 years, I've only threw out 3 students. And for those of you that know me, I've told you that. And I think that's a pretty good record. And usually in Calc 1 and Calc 2, I don't have to worry about too many belligerent people, okay? Last semester was a fun semester for a Calc class. Did I buy y'all biscuits?
No.
I didn't buy y'all biscuits.
I didn't get no biscuits.
You didn't get no biscuit.
You get to buy some this time now?
I have to buy, yeah.
Twice.
I don't know why I didn't buy y'all biscuits. Well, we had a good time anyway. I didn't buy pizza for y'all.
No.
No, not at 8 o'clock in the morning.
I didn't.
Well, maybe somebody in that class pissed me off. I don't know.
Sorry.
It was Miss Grant. That's who it was. Or Faith. It was Faith. Remember, she called me an asshole. We were having a bad day that day, wasn't we? Oh, Lord. But I haven't forgotten it. Kind of keeps me
I don't
humble.
think you'll ever forget.
No, I will not. I think that's the first time any student has called me an asshole. It was a bad day, Miss Khalil. It was a bad day for both of us. I was in a bitchy mood. She was in a bitchy mood, and we just had at it. I've had Miss Anderson Faith. I've had her in classes since college algebra. Hadn't I? Yeah. So she has that right to call me an asshole. She's been in my classes for like 4 years, 4 semesters. But anyway, I treat students the way I want to be treated. And even though I got called a name, I didn't call her a name. But some days I have bad days. And you'll know because I'm usually in a bitchy mood. And some of y'all can pick up on bitchy moods more than others. But most of the time, 98% of the time, I'm usually in a pretty good mood. For 8 o'clock in the morning, right? Oh, yeah, let's talk about that. Class starts whenever you get here, okay? Whenever a majority of the class gets here, that's when class starts. Luckily, this morning, my son woke up. He's 10 years old. He woke up, and we were able to get to school at 7:40, somewhere around there. So I was in class, for those of y'all that walked in late, I was in here like 10 minutes before class starts. Now, some of y'all are going to faint, but most of the time it's 10 after when I get here. So, Miss Khalil, you came in last. There's nothing wrong with you showing up late. I'm not going to lock the door like some people do. Okay? All right? If you get here at 8:20, you might get here before I do. Now, usually I don't get here past 8:30. Did I get here past 8:30 last year? Last semester?
A couple times.
Oh, shut up.
Well, when you're contemplating whether you should leave or not.
Don't leave. Now, when is the only time you should leave? When the secretary comes up here and tells you to leave, or there's a note on the board. Okay? Sorry. I'll call you back. That's my mother. I give her my schedule, but she don't read it. Anyway, she's like Granny Clampett on Beverly Hillbillies, except she's got black hair. So she's 76 years old and still got black hair. So I've got one thing going for me, that my hair hopefully will stay black for a while. Anyway, those 3 people had issues, and I asked them to leave, and that's in 21 years, so I don't think we'll have any trouble. The only thing we'll have trouble with is the cell phones. And my cell phone just went off, and I forgot to turn it on vibrate, and I'm sorry, and I apologize, but you don't have a cardio infarction. I won't have a cardio infarction when your phone goes off. The only thing I do ask that you be courteous. Courteous means respectful. If I am up here and you come up here and ask me a question, and while you're asking me a question, I sit here and start texting. What is that called? Rude. Okay? Well, what's the difference in me texting while you're talking to me and you texting when I'm talking up here? There is no difference. Okay? I don't have a problem with texting when I am talking about horror movies, or I'm talking about movies in general, or politics, or news, or current events. That's not when I'm teaching. When I'm teaching is when I get up there and we start talking about math. That is when you need to put the phone away, and if you answer it or if you need to text somebody, you just pick it up and go in there. Go in the hallway. Okay? When I start getting irritated is when students text while I'm teaching. To me, that's very rude, and it's basically disrespectful. Okay? And I don't like it. First time, I'll warn you by saying, didn't I tell y'all not to text in here? And then the second time, I'll embarrass you, because by then, everybody's trying to figure out who's doing it. And then the second time, I'll call you out. And then the third time, I'll ask you to leave. And I've never had to do that with cell phones. So number 2 and number 3, I just asked you to be courteous. We have families. I have my mother. I mean, bless her heart, I give her my schedule, but she don't read it. So she just called me, and it's not 10 o'clock yet. So on that, just be respectful. If she calls, I'll answer it and say, I'll call you back, or I'll go out in the hallway. If McClure, where my son goes to school, if it calls, I got them in the phone, if it says McClure School, or if my daughter calls or the College of Charleston calls, heaven forbid, then I know something is what? Wrong. And I will go out, I'll say, excuse me, I'll go out in the hallway, and I'll try to be as brief as possible and come back in. And I ask that you do the same. If your daycare calls, or if your mother calls, or if your sister calls, go outside and answer it, okay? No problem there. This is not an online class. It's called a hybrid class. The original hybrid class was the way that I teach now. Of course, when administrators got a hold of it, they changed it so they could get another class in during the week. So that's not the original hybrid class. The original hybrid class is the teacher teaches 100% of the class time, and the students work on the computer the other percent, 10% at home. They do the paperwork and everything at home. And that's what the original hybrid class was. So that's what we're going to do in here. If anybody asks you, just tell them that you took so many hard tests, it was pathetic. You don't know how you passed. Attendance. There's 2 ways that you can get by on attendance in here. One is, as long as you cross the threshold of that doorway, I have to count you here because you're here. Now, if you leave and go do something else, then that's fine. Okay? Just come in here and tell me that you have to go somewhere, or you don't even have to tell me. Just make sure you give me your name, and I'll mark you here, and you can go do what you need to take care of. The other is by Skype. Now, for those of you that don't know, if you want to go to Skype, everybody has access, and you can download up to 5 computers. Okay? And some of you may not know that. You go to the internet. Well, if I can get there. And you pull up Office, just Google Office Portal. And I think it looks like this right here. I think this is it. Yeah. And type in your TCTC email. And before you even type that in, it's going to take, or when you type that in and hit tab to go to password, it's going to send you see, it directs you to the login right here, and you put in your username and password, and you can download all of Office, including Skype for Business, onto your laptop or your home computer or whatever, up to 5 computers. Now, once you get into Skype, you need to type in your username at Tri-County Tech and your password, and then you need to add me before class starts. Okay? Now, once you add me, then you just have to pull me up, or I add you. I have to add you to the meeting. Okay? So, if you are going to Skype with me, how many of y'all live in Clemson? You live in Clemson? I'm sorry, Clemson. So if you want to Skype in to the class, and you'll see the board and you'll see everything, then you need to text me like at 8:05 or 8:10, because it takes me a few minutes to get the computer started, and say I'm Skyping in, and then I will go into the meeting after I start pull it up. I'll pull up this class, pull up Skype, I'll start a meeting, and then I have to add you to the meeting. So you have to be online on Skype, just be logged into Skype, and give me your username. Tri-County, just mine is H. McClure, yours would be B. Smith, or whatever the case may be. And then I will add you, and I could add several of y'all. If y'all live in Clemson or South Iowa or North Iowa or Star or BHP or wherever you live, and you don't want to, when you got the appointment at 9:30 and you really can't make it here and then go to your appointment, then Skype in and I will count you here. Okay? So that's something else that you can do. So that's Skype. Yes, sir.
Do you have like a restriction on how often you use that?
No. In fact, I promote it, because there's a lot of times in real life now that you're going to be using Skype for Business, or some application of a, what do you call that?
VTC,
What is that called?
virtual teleconference.
Yeah, thank you. I didn't know that. I didn't know what to call it. But there's going to be a lot of times. Now, Tri-County Tech, we're behind the times. So we've got a lot of people that don't know how to send an email without putting the email in the subject line. And we've got 90% of our faculty and staff don't know how to use Skype online. So, but when you get out to the real world, you will have places that do, what is it called? Teleconferencing?
Video teleconference.
Video teleconferencing, online teleconferencing. So I would kind of suggest you get into it. Lord, all of y'all gonna come in here. I won't have anybody come in here. Everybody's gonna be Skyping in. I'm gonna be teaching by myself, and people are gonna be walking by going, "What's that nut doing? There's nobody in there. He's drunk." But anyway, that's how you get to Skype. Go through Office Portal. Just Google Office Portal and log in with your TCTC information, and that's that. Okay? And there's no restriction on that. And there's some other things there, but I'm not going to go through it. You can read it. Just don't want to take up class time going over some of the stuff. Yeah, I don't like know-it-alls. NASA engineers that design a space shuttle, but you're here taking classes at Tri-County Tech. Okay, you're not a know-it-all. You just think you are. Those are the people that are avoided in the halls. You know, people go into the women's restroom because they don't want to see them. And here are some things you will be graded on. And this is the second most important sheet. Just instead of course compass, just say WebAssign. This is a good program. This one sucks. Okay, but you're stuck with it because the teacher that is in charge of calculus don't use WebAssign, so you don't really care. So hopefully it'll get better now that Cengage bought it. And you can just look over this. What is the count on your grade? 60% comes from your unit test, 20% comes from your homework, and 20% comes from your final. Okay? Now, as far as what I want you to do for homework today is, that's all the handouts. I'm just going to go over handouts today. Is I want you to get your access code squared away. Get your book squared away. Now, there is a book online. You can just buy the access code if you want to. I don't know if the bookstore has it. Usually they don't, or they don't have enough. And if you want to buy it online, you can buy the access code online. You've got the course ID or the course key. I've given you that. It's in your email. So your priority is to get on to WebAssign before Wednesday or Thursday, whenever y'all come back. All right? Make sure you get on to WebAssign as soon as possible. If you have to use the 14-day Who needs to use the 14-day trial period? For those people who are waiting on financial aid refunds, that type of deal, or you're waiting on money to hit waiting on a paycheck or whatever the case may be, that's who needs to use the 14-day trial period. Okay? If you're not one of those people, then you need to go ahead and get logged on and get on to WebAssign. Do not do any homework because I haven't assigned any. And get that done. If you want to get a text, if you want a book, borrow a book, share a book, the old book, if you got an old calculus, multivariable calculus book, just use it. I mean, calculus has not changed in umpteen thousand years. It's not going to change. So you can use an old book if you want to. I don't care. Everybody has the book when you get it online. You should. But I think the WebAssign gives you the choice of having it or not. So, that's up to you. The main thing I want you to do between now and Thursday is to get on to WebAssign and figure out what you want to do about your book. Okay, that's the two things that you need to do. The rest of the stuff, just bring whatever you would want to bring, and we'll fill this, and get on to Skype also. Get your free software downloaded to your laptop and your home computer, and that means Skype. Skype for business, not Skype. Skype for business, because Skype for business is for meeting. Skype is for one-on-one. Okay? All right, who's got questions about anything I've covered today? Yes, sir.
Can I ask you about the Skype when we're done?
Yeah, you can ask me about that when we get done. Emails, if anybody didn't get your email, come see me after class. I'm letting y'all go early today because today's an introduction, and I got to make sure everybody's on with the email. I got to make sure everybody's on with WebAssign, so I'm letting y'all go early today. Anybody got any other questions? All right, well, I'll see y'all Thursday. Get your stuff squared away, and we'll start Thursday with the review then. Okay?
Thank you.
Yes. And up here if you need emails or whatever. Yes, sir.
Is it, did I log into the portal?
Install Office 2016.
All of it?
Oh, you've done it? Yeah, install all of them.
I mean, I already have Office on it.
Well, go ahead and install that, because anything that you don't have or any updates, it'll automatically do that.
Okay.
And after you do that, you'll go to your program bar and type in Skype, and it'll say Skype and Skype for Business. You pick on Skype for Business,
Okay.
and then it'll ask you to log in, and you just log in like you would try to get into it. Okay? And then you would call me and I would add you. That's all you need to do. All you need to do is log in to Skype for Business when you want to log in. When you want to Skype in. And then to send me a text and say, I'm Skyping today, and then when I start my Skype and start a meeting, I'll add you, and you'll get a request to say, do you want to add to the meeting? Say yes. And then you'll be in. Okay? Yes, sir.
A reminder that I'll need to step out about 9:30 every day to go down to Spanish.
That's not a big deal. Okay. Yes, sir.
So for calculus 2, can I use the same, do I have to buy another calculus?
You shouldn't. Okay. Mr. Huth didn't, but Miss Grant is having to check on it. So
right.
Try it and see what you come up with. Okay? Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, just look at this.
Let me move my breakfast.
Go back.
I know.
Okay, so look, I'm logged in or whatever. I'm in. But it just says right here, I can see my assignments. I can go here and check out stuff.
Did you do the free trial?
No, I didn't click on anything because look, if I go back home, it says it right here. You have until Monday, whatever. And then I'll click get access now. And then it comes up with those 3 options.
You shouldn't have to do that. Did you email them?
No, because there's no question. There's no question mark. But I'm just going to try to
What
purchase
the hell?
it.
Why don't you have a question mark?
I don't know. I looked, but I don't have one.
Go back to the home. Go back to WebAssign. Okay.
I have a help, but it didn't look like yours.
Okay, there it is.
This.
Mm-hmm. There it is. And type in your email, and then send. Tell them what I told you to tell them. Tell them that you took Calc 1 last semester, you paid for the book and access code, but when you type, and it should be for all 3 semesters. And
Okay.
it's asking you for an access code.
Okay. But see, what I don't know is when I bought that book, I just planned on taking Calc 1 for that one semester. I didn't plan on taking Calc 2. So I might have not.
You could have hit the just
Yeah.
one semester.
Because I didn't plan on taking Calc 2 when I first started.
Then go back and click on to access code and see if it asks you for the other 2 semesters. Okay,
So
click on,
purchase
yeah,
access online.
yeah. Does it ask you for,
Single term access to homework.
that's what you hit.
So I need to.
You need to do
that
the other
again.
one if you're gonna take 2 and 3.
Well, I don't want to take 2 and 3. Or I'm taking
Well,
2.
people in hell want ice water, but what is your major?
Anthropology. Because I don't know if I want to go law or med.
Well, if you
Yeah.
go med, you're gonna have to have Calc 2 and 3.
Well, I'm not going to know that to make sure I'm in college. I'm not a math person. Like, I'm not good at math.
You did good last semester.
I know, but I have to really work for it. Like, I'm not like naturally gifted like most people.
I'm not either, girl. Go ahead and sign up for another term, and then you can just pay for it. Yeah, and then it'll ask how much is that.
94.
Yeah, that's it. Because if you pay for a whole year, it's like $200 and something.
Yeah, I don't think I did that.
Okay, that's why you're getting.
All right, I'll do this, and I'll try to get that by Thursday.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
You're welcome. How was your Christmas?
I just got drunk and hung around the house by myself, depressingly, and no, it was good.
That's good. That's good. All right, I'll see you on Thursday.
If you're lucky.
You'll be here. You're always here.
Yeah. If I'm lucky, I'll see you. How about
All right,
that?
that's true.
Bye bye. Did you call? You called. I'm sorry, I was in class.
I'm afraid of that. I checked that bank account and we like right around $125 to clear that other check in the Shanley place. And I didn't know what you might want to do.
Well, I think we need to wait, Mama. I don't want to drain both of our accounts, and that's what we'd be doing, and then we wouldn't have any money.
Well, I just wanted to run it across you because I just didn't want to leave something unturned. So I agree with that. Love you. Sorry to bother you.
You're not bothering me. Love you too. And I'm gonna call. I'm gonna send Nakia a text and let him know that we're waiting on a closing to pay the rent or whatever. I'll text him right now.
Simple.
Oh, and one other thing, we got a bread run today, so as soon as I get home, we're gonna have to load some empties. So if you or Matthias gets a chance, we need to wash off all the containers on the pallets, because we're gonna take the dump truck and take a load of empties up to the bread place and pick up 6 or 8 stacks of bread. So put that on your list of do. If Matthias gets there, have him wash them off. And, cause I don't want you doing it cause it's so cold. But that's just, we gotta make a bread run today. I guess we can feed, but I need to get there as soon as I get Walt out of school. So I might have to make a bread run first and then feed up afterwards.
10-4. I'll get on that right now. I think he's out there.
Okay. Hey there.
I replied to your email about switching
Yes.
rooms, but I didn't hear back from you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Do you
Yeah,
know-
well, we're waiting on one teacher. I'm Hubert.
I'm Tracy.
Nice to
Nice
meet
to
you.
meet you. I saw you walking in this morning. I was like, I've seen him before at the Pendleton campus. I know him.
What do you teach?
I'm teaching prob stats here.
Oh, you're math.
Mhm.
Are you full-time or adjunct?
I'm adjunct.
Oh, well,
I'm
I've
adjunct.
never met you. I'm sorry.
I think I briefly met you.
In the past.
Yeah, just last semester sometime. But
Well,
anyway.
thank you for changing with me.
It was
Yeah.
department. It was a department meeting.
Oh, it
It was
was?
a department meeting with Harry.
What happens is, after I get all the emails,
Uh-huh.
I will email Debbie, and
Okay.
Debbie will change everything
Okay.
and let all of us know. And then she'll put signs up.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
I don't mind. I don't mind using just the whiteboard as long
Yeah.
as I have the projector for my.
Yes, the projectors in all the classes. I use the board. I'm about the only one that
To do a
use the.
screenshot.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I bring in stuff, and I use stuff for the 3D on the calculus class. And it
Perfect.
kind of helps me, and that's why I ask for that room all the time.
Perfect.
And now that I've got it for the spring, it'll roll over to next spring, because fall will roll over, and until we get more boards,
Right.
I can be in
right.
there more. So
Yeah, I'm teaching calculus at Anderson, and there's so many fun things I want to do, but we don't have any smart boards there.
yeah,
But they all have iPads, so
Okay.
I'm going to try to do stuff with them on their iPads.
yeah, that's
It's a small
interesting.
class. I get to teach differential calc in 7 weeks, meeting twice a week.
Mm.
14 classes to get through.
At Anderson University. Oh, well, it's nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you too.
And if you need anything, holler.
I will. Are you down here all the time?
I'm down here all the time.
I like it down
My
here.
cell number's on my emails, so just
Okay,
holler at me.
perfect. This is my first time on this campus. I like it.
Oh gosh, totally different from being up
I
here.
like it down here.
Well, you need to try to get on down here.
I know, and I teach at Anderson when I'm
Mhm.
not here. So I'm finishing my PhD at Clemson right
Oh,
now.
good for you.
So I'm teaching at both places.
Yeah, I did 24 hours toward it, but I just don't want to fool with it.
All I have to do is finish my dissertation.
Well, good for you.
All. she
Yeah,
said.
that's all.
That's all. That's all.
Well, nice to meet you and
Nice to
holler.
meet you too. I will. I'll
Bye-bye.
see you.
It's the wrong door. That's the closet.
It's like you walked me in. Yeah, it was,
No, I'm not that bad.
I was teaching today, and every now and then I would step too hard because I tend to be really active when I teach.
Me too.
And the board would change on me. And the kids were getting a kick out of it.
Well, you have a good day.
You